The Basilica Cistern, or Cisterna Basilica, is the largest of several hundred ancient cisterns that lie beneath the city of Istanbul, Turkey. It was built in the 6th century, during the reign of Byzantine Emperor Justinian I. Today it is kept with little water, for public access inside the space. Historical texts claim that 7,000 slaves were involved in the construction of the cistern. The enlarged cistern provided a water filtration system for the Great Palace of Constantinople and other buildings on the first hill, and continued to provide water to the Topkapı Palace after the Ottoman conquest in 1453 and into modern times. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more interesting videos. The bases of 2 columns. In the northwest corner of the cistern reused blocks carved with the face of Medusa. The origin of the 2 heads is unknown, though it is thought that they were brought to the cistern after being removed from a building of the late Roman period. There is no evidence to suggest that they were previously used as column bases. Tradition has it that the blocks are oriented sideways and inverted in order to negate the power of the Gorgon's gaze. But it is more likely that the stones were treated as mere rubble to be reused in a setting not originally intended to be viewed by visitors. In Greek mythology, Medusa, also called Gorgo, was one of the 3 monstrous Gorgons, generally described as winged human females with living venomous snakes in place of hair. Those who gazed into her eyes would turn to stone. Most sources describe her as the daughter of Phorcys and Ceto, although the author Hyginus makes her the daughter of Gorgon and Ceto. Medusa was beheaded by the Greek hero Perseus, who then used her head, which retained its ability to turn onlookers to stone, as a weapon until he gave it to the goddess Athena to place on her shield. In classical antiquity, the image of the head of Medusa appeared in the evil-averting device known as the Gorgonian. According to Hesiod and Aeschylus, she lived and died on Sarpedon, somewhere near Cistern. The 2nd century BC novelist Dionysios Skytobrachion puts her somewhere in Libya, where Herodotus had said the Berbers originated her myth as part of their religion. Built in the 6th century by Byzantine Emperor Justinian I, it served as a water reservoir for the Great Palace. Located southwest of Hagia Sophia, the Basilica Cistern is one of Istanbul's most spectacular museums. and undoubtedly one of the top attractions you shouldn't miss on your trip. Another column to look out for is the one engraved with tears, a hen's eye, and slanted branches. It is believed that the tears are a homage to the hundreds of slaves who died during the construction of the cistern. Obelisk of Theodosius. The Obelisk of Theodosius is the ancient Egyptian obelisk of Pharaoh Thutmose III, re-erected in the Hippodrome of Constantinople. By the Roman Emperor Theodosius I in the 4th century AD. The obelisk of Theodosius is of red granite from Aswan, and was originally 30 meters tall, like the Lateran obelisk. The lower part was damaged in antiquity, probably during its transport or re-erection, and so the obelisk is today only 18.54 meters or 19.6 meters high, or 25.6 meters if the base is included. Between the four corners of the obelisk and the pedestal are four bronze cubes, used in its transportation and re-erection. Each of its four faces has a single central column of inscription, celebrating Thutmose II's victory over the Mitanni, which took place on the banks of the Euphrates in about 1450 BC. Pedestal. The marble pedestal had bas-reliefs dating to the time of the obelisk's re-erection in Constantinople. On one face, Theodosius I is shown offering the crown of victory to the winner in the chariot races, framed between arches and Corinthian columns, with happy spectators, musicians and dancers assisting in the ceremony. In the bottom right of this scene is the water organ of Theodosius, and on the left another instrument. Sultanahmet Square, or the Hippodrome of Constantinople. Sultanahmet is a square in Istanbul, Turkey. Previously, it was a circus that was the sporting and social center of Constantinople, capital of the Byzantine Empire. Serpent Column. To raise the image of his new capital, Constantine and his successors, especially Theodosius the Great, brought works of art from all over the empire to adorn it. The monuments were set up in the middle of the hippodrome. The spina. Among these was the sacrificial tripod of Plataea, now known as the Serpent Column, cast to celebrate the victory of the Greeks over the Persians during the Persian Wars in the 5th century BC. Constantine ordered the tripod to be moved from the temple of Apollo at Delphi and set in middle of the hippodrome. The top was adorned with a golden bowl, supported by 3 serpent heads, although it appears that this was never brought to Constantinople. The serpent heads and top third of the column were destroyed in 1700. 10 parts of the heads were recovered and are displayed at the Istanbul Archaeology Museum. All that remains of the Delphi tripod today is the base, known as the Serpentine Column. You must subscribe, because you will be shocked by the new things you will see. Next week. Don't miss it. We're going to Dolmabahçe Palace.